It's 5:52 in the morning. The apartment is quiet except for the sound of the ceiling fan turning slow circles above me. I'm standing in the kitchen in the same oversized t-shirt I fell asleep in, holding a mug of tea I haven't touched, staring at the back door like it owes me an explanation. If you're watching this right now, drop a comment and tell me where you are and what time it is there. Honestly. Because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of thing that feels less heavy when you know someone else is awake somewhere in the world hearing it. My name is Deja Monroe. I'm 32 years old. I have a son named Miles who is 7, a job I love as a high school English teacher, and until about 5 months ago, I had a fiancé named Marcus Webb. Marcus, who proposed on the rooftop of the restaurant where we had our first date. Marcus, who read to Miles every night in a voice that made my son reach up and grab his collar and say, "Again, Marcus, again." Marcus, who I was 3 months away from marrying. And Marcus, who I found out the truth about in exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds on a Tuesday morning because of a text I sent that was never meant to be real. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this actually started. Marcus Webb came into my life at a faculty development conference in Atlanta, the kind you attend out of obligation and leave 3 hours early. I was in line for lukewarm coffee when he appeared beside me, tall with reading glasses pushed up on his forehead like he'd forgotten they were there, arguing quietly with a vending machine. He turned to me and said completely seriously, "Do you think it's personal? Because I feel like it's personal." I laughed so hard I almost dropped my cup. We talked for 6 hours, missed the last 2 sessions entirely. He taught economics at a university 2 hours from where I lived. We did the distance for a year and a half before he moved closer. My mama said, "Baby, a man who rearranges his life for you doesn't do that accidentally." She was right, or I thought she was. He moved into our apartment 18 months before the proposal. Miles loved him immediately, which meant more to me than anything. We built a whole life around routine and inside jokes and Sunday mornings that smelled like butter and maple syrup. He coached Miles's soccer team. He fixed things around the apartment without being asked. He made me feel safe in a way I didn't even know I'd been missing. Then, somewhere around the 1-year mark of living together, things got quieter in a way I couldn't name. Not fights, not coldness, just a certain kind of absence that showed up in the spaces between things. He started keeping his phone face down. He started laughing at messages and going still when I walked in. He started needing to run to the office on Saturday afternoons. I noticed every single time. But when I'd bring it up, Marcus would look at me with this patient, slightly wounded expression and say, "Deja, you know I'm not that kind of man." And I would feel ashamed for asking. That shame, right there, that's the trap. When someone makes you feel guilty for your own intuition, that's when you know something is deeply wrong. My friend Kezia was the one who finally said something out loud. Kezia Clark, who has been my closest friend since we were freshman year college roommates, and she reorganized my side of the dorm without asking, and somehow that became the foundation of a lifelong friendship. She called me on a Sunday night, voice careful and deliberate, the way she talks when she has already decided she's going to say the thing she's afraid to say. I saw Marcus's car at the Meridian Suites on Friday afternoon. I wasn't snooping. I was dropping off something for my cousin who works the front desk. Deja. It was there for 2 hours. I didn't say much. I thanked her. I hung up. I sat in Miles's room while he slept and just breathed for a while, watching the small rise and fall of his chest, thinking about how completely a person can live inside a lie you built together without even knowing the walls are paper. I didn't confront Marcus. Not yet. Confronting Marcus would be handing him a script he already knew how to perform. He was calm under pressure, analytical, the kind of man who could reframe a situation before you finished your sentence. I needed something he couldn't reframe. I needed to see who he was when he thought there was no audience. My brother Derek worked in digital marketing and had a gift for making things look official. I asked him for a favor. I explained just enough. Within a day, he sent me a template that looked exactly like the automated alerts from our shared lease management app, the one Marcus and I both used to split household expenses. It looked real. Same font, same logo, same formatting. The message read, "Notice, your account has been flagged for irregular activity. Balance discrepancy of $2,340 detected. Please log in immediately to verify recent transactions." I want to be clear about why I did this, because people always have opinions when a woman takes things into her own hands. I wasn't trying to trap him. I wasn't being petty or dramatic or paranoid. I was trying to find out if the man I was about to legally bind my life to was actually who he said he was. Because here's the thing nobody talks about enough. When someone is lying to you consistently, you stop trusting your own mind. You second-guess your instincts. You build explanations for their behavior before they even have to offer one. I had been doing that for months. I needed one clean, unfiltered look at who Marcus really was. I chose a Tuesday morning. His university had late starts on Tuesdays. He'd still be home at 8:45, relaxed, scrolling, coffee in hand. I woke up early, set my phone to record on the kitchen counter behind the fruit bowl, and at 8:51 a.m. I sent the fake alert to his number from an unknown number Derek had set up. Then I walked to the living room, sat in the armchair by the window, picked up a book, and turned a page I did not read. The first minute. Silence. Then the sound of his phone's screen lighting up on the nightstand. 30 seconds, then the mattress shifting. Then his feet on the hardwood floor, then his voice. Low and controlled and nothing like the man I thought I knew. "What is this?" Not a question, a statement. And then quieter, "No, not now." I kept my eyes on the book. I heard him move to the far corner of the bedroom. He called someone. I heard him through the wall, voice down to almost nothing. "Renee, are you up? Look, I need you to check the joint account right now. Something's flagged." Renee. The name landed somewhere low in my stomach. "I don't know, just check it. This is exactly what I was worried about. If Deja sees..." He stopped himself. "No, she doesn't know anything. She's not like that. She wouldn't go looking." Wouldn't go looking. He thought my trust was the same as ignorance. He had mistaken my love for blindness. A joint account, not an expense, not a loan. A joint account with a woman named Renee, minute 3. He was moving around the bedroom now, that restless, calculating kind of packing. I heard him say, in a voice so low I almost missed it, "We just have to be careful until after the wedding. After that, it's different. We can be different." After the wedding. He had a timeline. He had a plan. He had been building a future with her that ran parallel to the one he was building with me, and the wedding was a waypoint in both of them. Minute 4. Marcus walked into the living room. He saw me in the armchair. I looked up from the book. The look on his face in that moment, I will carry it forever, not because it was guilt or remorse, but because it was the look of a man rapidly sorting through options. His eyes did this thing, a quick, almost invisible calculation, like he was a chess player and the board had just shifted in a way he hadn't anticipated. He said, carefully, "You're up early." I set the book down. "Who is Renee?" The room went absolutely still. Marcus had an answer for everything. I had watched him talk his way through budget meetings, student complaints, difficult family dinners, an entire life of smooth navigation. He opened his mouth. He closed it. "Marcus." I kept my voice even. "You have a joint account with a woman named Renee. You just told her we'd be able to be different after the wedding. I need you to tell me out loud what that means." He sat down on the couch. He put his hands on his knees. And for the first time since I had known him, Marcus Webb had absolutely nothing to say. Her name was Renee Acaffer. She was 29, worked in hospital administration, and had been seeing Marcus for the better part of a year. He told me over the following 3 days, not because he wanted to, but because I asked specific questions and waited, silently, until he answered each one. The joint account had been opened 9 months ago. She knew about Miles. She did not know about me. He had told her his relationship was complicated and almost over. A woman who believed she was waiting for a man to finish ending something else. Another person he had made into a character in a story she didn't know she was in. The hardest conversation I had wasn't with Marcus. It was with my son. Miles, who had started calling Marcus, my Marcus, the way kids make people into something permanent. Miles, who had his soccer trophy on the bookshelf between his Legos and a picture he drew of the 4 of us, including our dog, Biscuit. I didn't explain everything. He was 7. But children understand more than we think, and he had already felt the temperature in the apartment change. "Is Marcus coming back?" He asked me one night while I was braiding his hair. "I don't know, baby," I said, because I was done performing certainty I didn't have. He was quiet for a minute. Then, "That's okay, Mama, we're okay." 7 years old. More grace in him than most adults I know. Kezia, true to who she's always been, showed up the day after I asked her to. She brought food and her relentless practicality and not a single word of "I told you so," which is the purest form of friendship there is. She helped me make a list of what needed to happen, practical things, legal things, the kind of logistics that force you to move even when you feel like standing still. Marcus's mother called me. Ms. Patricia Webb, a retired nurse with a faith that ran bone deep and a directness that matched it. She had treated me like family from the moment Marcus introduced us. She called to tell me she had spoken to her son and that she was not going to pretend she wasn't devastated. "You deserved better from him," she said, "and I want you to know that what he did has nothing to do with your worth." I held the phone for a long time after she hung up. Sometimes the grace comes from unexpected places. I did not reach out to Renee, but she reached out to me 10 days later, a short message through social media that said only, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know, I hope you can believe that." I did believe it. I wrote back one sentence, "I know, none of this was your fault." And that was the end of that chapter. Marcus and I had no shared property, which made things cleaner than they could have been. He moved his things out over a single weekend in March. He said goodbye to Miles, and I will give him this. He did not make that goodbye ugly. He did not make Miles carry his choices. It has been 5 months. I am back in the apartment that is just ours again, Miles's and mine and Biscuit's. I redecorated the living room. I moved the furniture. I let Miles pick the new throw pillows, which is why we now have one that says GOALS in block letters and one shaped like a basketball, but that's fine. That's more than fine. My mama calls every few days. Kezia comes over on Sunday evenings. I went back to reading for pleasure, not just for work, which sounds small and isn't. I am teaching again with my whole chest. Last week, a student told me that the way I read dialogue in class made her feel like she was actually in the room with the characters. That meant more to me than she probably knows. One fake alert. 4 minutes and 37 seconds. And a man who called someone else baby while I was in the next room. That's not a tragedy. That's information. And information, even when it breaks your heart, is always better than a beautiful lie. If this story landed somewhere real for you, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a moment where the truth showed up in a way you didn't expect? Tell me about it in the comments. And don't forget to tell me where you're watching from and what time it is there. I genuinely read as many of your messages as I can, and there is something powerful about knowing this reaches people at all different hours in all different corners of the world. If you want more stories like this, about the choices we make, the things we survive, and the people we become on the other side, make sure you subscribe. There are more coming. Thank you for being here.